It is said that success is tied to destiny, that if it is meant to be, it will be. I disagree. Yes, the world can be very harsh and unpredictable. But if you look closely, you notice that success has a certain mathematics to it. There is something that the people who win have used to game the system and bend reality in their favor. And in this video, I'm going to reveal it. So, what is the mathematics of success? How can it be that success is formulaic? Well, let me start with the theorem that is not very popular in mathematics, and it is called the law of large numbers. And it simply states that if you do an experiment enough times, the average outcome will get closer and closer to the theoretical probability. Let me give you an example of a coin. So everyone knows that if you have a coin, the probability of getting heads or tails is 50-50. Now let's say that you carry that coin and you flip it about 5 times. And let's say that to your surprise, you get 4 tails and just 1 head. Will you say that the coin is rigged? According to the law of large numbers, no, the coin is not rigged. It just means that you did it just few times. So according to that law, if you do the coin flip about 100 times, then the number of tails will be somewhere around 60. And the number of heads will be somewhere around 40. So from 4 to 1, they have gotten to 60 to 40. They have gotten a bit closer to the mean. According to the law again, if you flip the coin 200 times, they are going to be, say, 105 tails. And then there's going to be like 95 heads. So they have gotten even closer than before. So this is the law of large numbers. And now you may ask me, what does all this mean? How does all this tie to success or whatever? Let me give another example, this time from my own life. So right now, I've sent about 2,500 cold emails to strangers. And among those emails, about 900 of them have been videos. So I record a video and I send it to them with the email. And although I've done all these things, I don't have a client yet. And so you may begin to ask, Izuchukwu, if you are doing all these things and you're not getting any results, why are you continuing to do it? The simple answer is that it's because of this law, because of the law of large numbers. Because here's the thing, I have a lot of things that are stacked against me that stop me from getting a client. Number one, I am Nigerian. I have a Nigerian accent. Everyone knows that that's already a disadvantage. Number two, I'm young. Number three, I'm inexperienced. Number four, I have no connections. Number five, I have no resources. So if all these things are stacked up against me and are pushing my odds of getting a client lower and lower, it means that my probability is very low. So in the case of the coin, the probability was 50-50. In my case, let's say that the probability of me getting a client is like 0.01%. Okay? 0.01%, if you convert it to a fraction, so just follow me, it's going to be 1 over 10,000. So I'm going to have to do 10,000 reps before I get the first client. And so if I'm at number 5,000, if I'm at number 500 and I'm not seeing any clients, does it mean that the game is rigged? No. According to the law of large numbers, it just means that I've not done the sufficient amount of volume to see the results. And here's another thing I must add. The law of large numbers doesn't work on its own as it relates to success. So if I'm sending the 2,500 emails, I cannot just be sending the same emails every single time and then I expect that, the law of large numbers will work for me. I believe that it also works with the amount of skill that you gain. And the skill will create leverage so that you can get what you want. So how this plays out in my own particular life is that the email I was sending, the first email I sent, is not the same email I'm sending now. It has progressed. Like after every about 200 emails, I refine my subject line, I refine my loom video, I refine the email that I'm sending, the actual body of the email, so that it gets better and better and better. Because now, what it means is that I'm not just working with the law of large numbers. I'm combining the large numbers with the amount of skill that I'm learning, which will create leverage. So the equation that represents success is that your volume multiplied by the leverage that you have is what's going to create the success. This is why people say that you should work hard and work smart. Those are just code words for the main thing, which is volume and leverage. Now let me talk about something that people love to bring up whenever I talk about this equation that I just told you now. And what they like to bring up is luck. Now I understand that luck is a real thing in the world, that things can just happen and you won't be able to predict them. But then I also believe that you can make luck to not be a factor just by the volume and the skill that you acquire. So in the modern world, you have a lot of icons that signify the hard work, kill yourself with the work, make luck not a factor in your life. We have those people. We have Alex Omozi, we have the David Goggins, we have Kobe Bryant. We have all those people who have been successful and who have a monstrous work ethic. But what if I told you that the person who applied this law that I presented to you to the highest degree was not any of them? In fact, I can almost guarantee that you have never heard of the person I'm about to tell you about. So to introduce you to this man, let me take you back to ancient Greece, to the year 384 BC, in the city of Athens. And in that city, a young baby is born, and his name is Demosthenes. So this man is probably the most unlucky person that I have ever known. And this is why. Number one, he was born as a very sickly child, so it was very easy for him to get injured or to fall sick. And the second thing is he was born with a speech impediment, so he couldn't speak as clearly as the normal person. And because of that, he got bullied in school. And the third thing that happened to him is that when he was 7 years old, his father died. So that's already tragic. But then apart from that, when his father died, the guardians, the keepers of his father's wealth, they just stole the wealth and left with it. They didn't give him anything. They didn't provide for his education. They just left him out in the cold because his father had died and no one was there to help him. So you have this young man that is extremely unlucky. He's born with this speech impediment. He's sickly, and now his inheritance has been taken from him, and his father is dead. And on top of that, he's not athletic or anything because of his sickness. So he can't excel even in the gym. He can't excel in sports, which was one of the booming things in Greece that time. So he couldn't excel in sports, he couldn't excel in speaking or in intellect or anything. He was just useless. And because of how helpless that he felt, he decided to do something about it. He hatched a plan for himself. And this is what he planned. He planned that he was going to train himself to be a lawyer and an orator. So he's going to train himself to study Greek law and study how to speak so that he can defeat the people who took his inheritance in court and gain back his inheritance. That was his plan. And it's not even the plan that is the amazing part. The amazing part is how he did it. So let me explain. The first thing that he did is he dug a hole in the ground and then built himself a mini house where he was going to study. So I guess that was ancient times. You could do that for yourself then. So what he did is he just created this house on the ground. He literally dug up the ground and created a house there. And every day he'll go inside here and start training his speech. And here's one thing he did so that he could actually stay committed to this. So he shaved his head. He cut his hair off so that he could stay in that place and not live there. And he didn't just cut it off in the normal way, but that you would think that you just cut everything up. He shaved half of his head. So you go and tell the barber or whoever was cutting it that, hey, cut from here like this. Cut everything here. So you can just imagine me with that type of hair. Cut everything there so that I will feel so embarrassed that I will not be able to leave my house until I've learned this skill, until I know what I'm doing. That's the level of commitment that this guy brought to his thing. So he did that one, and here's his actual training procedure. So this is a guy that is learning how to speak, but learning to study the law, learning to speak. And remember, he has a speech impediment. That means he's a bit of a stammerer or something. He can't speak very well, basically. And this is what he did. He treated his voice like muscles. So if you want to build your muscles, you go to the gym and you lift heavy weights. This guy wanted to treat his vocal cords like they were muscles. He wanted to put them under extreme stress so that they'll be able to overcome that impediment that he has. So here's what he did. He was going to take a lot of stones. He would take a lot of stones, and then you fill his mouth with stones. And then as the stones are in his mouth, he will start speaking, start giving a speech. And why is he doing that? Because he knows that if he can successfully give a speech when his mouth is full with stones, then when his mouth is not full with stones, he'll be able to do it even better than the normal person, which means he'll overcome his impediments and become a better speaker. So he did that one. He'll fill his mouth with stones. Sometimes he'll run up a hill. You know, if you're running up a hill, you'll be panting now and your body will be agitated. So he will give a speech while he's running up a hill, just so that his vocal cords can be under that stress, under that strain, so that they can be built up in a way. Even though I don't understand how exactly that works, but it worked for him. And here's the reason why it worked for him. Because after that monk mode season of him staying on the ground and doing those things, he came out and he met those people who took his inheritance. And he defeated them in court. And he didn't just stop there, because what turned out was that the people who took his inheritance, they had already finished like 90% of it. So what was remaining was very small. But at this point, it wasn't about the money again that he went to the court. It was about the skill that he had gotten. It was about the amount of volume he had put into this work so that he knew that he was a great speaker. He knew that he was a great orator. And so after that time, even though he didn't get a lot of money from that, he became the greatest orator that Greece and probably the world has ever had. Just because he decided that he was going to crank volume, he was going to crank the skill and get what he wanted. And so, like I said, he became the greatest orator that Greece ever had. And so you can imagine that somebody is going to come when he's already great and already giving amazing speeches, and somebody will come and see him and you say, oh, this guy is just talented, he's just lucky or something. They will say he's just lucky, when in reality what got him to that place was just sheer mathematical inevitability. Now that I've told you about the mathematics of success, I think you and I will have to agree that although we believe that this is true and we believe that it's workable, a normal person cannot do this thing that I've said. A normal person is not going to dig a hole in the ground and shave half of his hair and fill his mouth with stones so that he can practice speaking. A normal person is not going to send 10,000 emails just so that he can find out whether you get one person. The type of man who is going to use this equation effectively is someone who is obsessed. And the truth is that that comes with a cost. And in the next part of this video, I'll discuss the cost of obsession. At this point, you have learned about the mathematics of success. And you have learned that obsession is what you use to use this mathematics to the highest degree that you can. But now let me explain to you why obsession is not free. The first reason why it's not free is because, by definition, obsession means you pour your energy, you pour a disproportionate amount of energy into one thing. And because you as a human being are limited in your energy and in your time, for you to pour a lot of energy into one thing, it means you have to reduce the time, reduce the energy you're spending on other things. And that simply means that if you're going to be obsessed, certain parts of your life will suffer. So you cannot be this well-rounded guy who has a great body, a great relationship, a great business, a great everything, and you want to handle everything at once. Then you say that you're obsessed. You cannot do it at once. And so a way to mitigate that is that you can break obsession into seasons. So you can say, this is my season of obsession with business. This is my season of obsession with gym or whatever. So you can just break it into different stages so that on a long enough time horizon, everything becomes balanced. That is something I've used to mitigate this cost. And then the second cost, which I believe that you can't really mitigate with any system, is that even if you accept that I'm going to sacrifice some things so that I can focus on one thing for a particular season, it is that most of the time the result is delayed. So if you can think about Demosthenes and what he did, shaving his head, doing all these things and practicing his speeches, he did not get good during maybe the first month. He did not get world class during the first month. He must have stayed in that cave for years, honing his craft, practicing his skills, doing it endlessly, doing it again and again. And the truth is, because the path he's going on is a path of obsession, it is lonely. Because not many people are ready to give up so many things so that they can focus on one thing and put as much time and energy into it and use the law of large numbers. Not many people are willing to do it. And so if you are there and you're doing it and you're not seeing any results, your mind will begin to tell you a lot of things. It will start to bring you a lot of concrete evidence of why you are an idiot. It will start to tell you, you have given up this, you have given up this thing, given up this thing. You are sacrificing all these things and there's no results. What is wrong with you? That's what your mind is going to tell you, and it is real because it is concrete evidence and it will shake you. But one thing I just like to remind myself, even though it doesn't fully solve it, is that this is how it's supposed to be. This is nothing new. The idea of feeling insane, feeling like an idiot, is not something new. But it's a requirement if you're going to actually use this law to get what you want. So these are the costs of obsession. And whether they are worth it is actually not up to me to decide. It's up to you to decide. But as for me, I think it's absolutely worth it. If you enjoyed this video, I think you enjoyed this video I made about why you will never escape Nigeria. And if you like the video, make sure to subscribe. Thanks for watching and see you later.